Good luck comes with good preparation. Good luck comes with good preparation. I prepare myself, that's why I need I prepare myself, that's why I need withstand temporary setback. Stand temporary setback. Power to the positive people, you're paying heaven. Power to the positive people, you're paying heaven.
Look in the mirror, it's all getting clearer. The time is coming, it's nearer and nearer.
Yes, and welcome to another episode of Mind Your Thoughts, because there's always that someone wants your mind. And today we want to talk about something that's probably a little controversial, maybe for some people. Some of the things that may be said. These are my opinions based upon my research, my life, the things I've seen, the things I've read, the things I've heard. You know. So don't forget, before we get started, like, subscribe, share this out so we can get other people to subscribe as we try to build up the followers so that we can bring you more enlightening content, because this is all about your mind and minding your own mind, you know, so that your mind will not become someone else's, and then you'll be doing what they want you to do, thinking that you're doing on your own, and you're not. You know, there are many ways that they do this. One of the ways, of course, is propaganda, and propaganda is very prevalent in our society today. When we look at the topic, you know, let's talk about the topic. How do you define black people? How is a person who says, I am a black person, how are they defined? How do you define that? You know, when you look at the atmosphere and the situation that's going on today that's prevalent, you know what I'm saying? Of course, we have the presidential candidate who many are calling black, you know, but truthfully, what defines black? Because when you look at her history, you know, her mother and grandparents' history is from the country of India. Now, there's a Jamaican connection. However, Jamaicans aren't black. If you don't believe me, then go ask a Jamaican. Are you black? They're going to tell you, no, I'm a Jamaican. So that's not a definition of black. I mean, you really have to ask yourself, you know, because it is for the country and certain entities in this country, it is benevolent for them for you to identify as black people, you know. The problem with that is that, you know, and I've had this conversation with a few people, you know, who sometimes try to ridicule me because they say, I know you don't like to use black people, because when you use black people, you don't have a definition, you know. You look at, you know, a lot of times, you know, and this is when I really get on them when we're talking about history, and we go back, you know, 1,000 years, and they say, yeah, you see the black people, that's not, those people were not black people. Those people never considered themselves black people. The term and the ideology of race was not during those times. There was no such thing. There was nationality. There was the people that I'm from. You see, that's how they identified themselves. Egyptians didn't identify themselves as black. You know what I'm saying? They identified themselves as Egyptians. You know? And so, you know, I have a friend of mine, he said, yo, the Bible is black people history. No, it's not. You know, there's no people in the Bible called black. So how is it the history of black people? You know? The color of the skin is not a definition of a human being. That is the condition of the human being. And it's not the definition of a human being. So anybody out there, please give me the definition of black people. You see, because in today's society, anybody can come who has melanated or you know, in the skin condition, you know, of brown or black, you know, and come to this country and qualify themselves or quantify themselves as a black person. And they do that when it is advantageous for them to receive something, you see, or to get something, you know, to get mercy from the so-called black man. and the black woman, and they come around and it's all good, and when they need you, but when they don't need you, you're back to whoever you are, which you don't know who you are. You don't have a clue. That's why you call yourselves black, or the other one, African American. And all of these things, the people that promote these things, you see, are the people who do more harm than good. It doesn't matter the color of their skin. You see, because there's many people that look like us who promote these type things. They promote this victimization. You see what I'm saying? When you really think about it, if you're so-called a black person in the United States of America, what's your history? Oh, slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, rape, murder, hangings, the bottom of the barrel, the victims. You see, what's positive about that? Tell me something that is positive about that. Right now we have people talking about, I'm overcoming generational curses. Let me ask you a question. Who put the curse on you? And if you know it's a curse, why are you still in the curse? Talking about you overcoming the curse. You see, if there's a curse on you, you either break the curse or you don't. You don't overcome it. Ain't no overcoming no curse. You either break the curse and move on, or you still dwell in the curse, so that when something happens, it's the curse. You blame the curse. We have, black people sit around and always quantify and qualify and follow through with victimization. That's just it. That's just how it is. Like it or not. It amazes me that black people will say they are victims. They never name who is the victimizer. Therefore, they look for relief from their victimization. And who do they get relief? Who do they look for to relieve them of their victimization? The person that victimized them in the first place. Now, you telling me that makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? They use the word black to hide their true meaning and their true things that they want to accomplish. You look at certain things, since we're talking about political things, let's look at a political thing that's been going on, for 40, 50 years, and you tell me what has benefited black people. And what I'm talking about is the Congressional Black Caucus. You have these people, they say they have formed this thing within the legislatures or the legislators, you see, national legislators, and they call themselves the Congressional Black Caucus, right? So, and you would think that what their purpose is for the betterment of black people, right? That's what it sounds like. But when you look at what is really going on, it's not a betterment for the black people. It's a betterment for them. You see, right now in the Congressional Black Caucus, you see what I'm saying? Everybody who is a member of the Congressional Black Caucus is a Democrat. You see? And their first priority is not to black people, but it is to the Democratic Party. So then what is the purpose of the Congressional Black Caucus if you are not uplifting, looking out for black people? You see, where's the legislation that you are proposing that will help so-called black people? Where's it at? Name one. You had a piece of legislation that you allowed to sit tabled for 30 years. Then in 2021, after the all the stuff that went on in 2020, you brought this and untabled it and reintroduced it to Congress, where it has sat on the agenda but never brought forth. So what is the purpose of the Congressional Black Caucus if it is not for the upliftment and the betterment of the so-called black people? You see, they use these terminologies to give you an ideology and to keep you in the same place that you are right now. It was so amazing to me doing the George Floyd thing, and I got a lot to say about that, but I'm just going to say a few little things about that. To show that black people really ain't nobody. because see, if you were somebody, if you had a culture, a true culture, not all of these subcultures that you permeate in, the hip hop subculture, the rainbow subculture, the Democratic subculture, the Republican subculture. All of these are subcultures because culture is based upon cultivation. And what are you cultivating? Are you cultivating morals? Are you cultivating principles that are based upon morals that would make them spiritual principles? No, you're not doing none of that. You're cultivating the culture that has been created for you through propaganda for you to follow. So you fight each other about nonsense. And so-called black people continue to stay in the same position that they were in. If they had a true culture, nobody would have been standing around taking a film while that man was laying there dying. You see, if it would have been a Jewish person in a Jewish neighborhood, do you think the Jews would have stand there and let him die like that? If it had been a Chinese person in a Chinese neighborhood, do you think the Chinese would have let that man die like that? No. That's why they don't deal with those people the same way that they deal with you, because they know you won't do nothing because you don't have the intestinal fortitude, because you have no idea who you are. You operate under the term minority. Minority is a legal term meaning that you are one who cannot handle his own affairs. So therefore, we got welfare, we got Section 8, we got all of this stuff to give you and stuff just to help you stay right where you at, because that's where we need you, right where you at. We don't need you to pursue the American dream. You see, when black people say we built this country, name something you built in. What industry did you build? Tell me. How did you build this country? Stop letting these people lie to you. I don't care who it is that says this. Tell me what you built. Tell me, what did black people build? And don't talk about slavery, because if you talk about slavery and stuff, you don't know what you're talking about. The South lost. That's where most of the slaves was. At the end of the Civil War, the United States of America was broke. So what you build? How you build it? It's time to come out of the fantasy and to start to face reality. Black people, nowhere in the world, nowhere in history is there any mention of black people. All of these people belong to something that is recognized by the world under a nationality. If you don't have a nationality, then you are a slave. When you talk about civil rights, you see, civil rights is what is given to the bottom of society. That's why they call it civil. Society has agreed to be civil to these people who are less than human, who have degraded themselves to be less than human, because you accept the label of a minority. Well, I don't know. I'm a victim of generational curse, generational mental capacity and stuff. All this generational stuff. Name. I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's funny. And see, lack of leadership. Not lack of leadership. It's not the lack of leadership. It's those who you choose to be a leader. Those who you choose to follow, look at them. Take a good look at them, because they are not offering anything to you. They're only asking you to help them to get more. They ain't saying, yeah, if I get this here, I'm going to give you. They ain't saying that, And I'm talking about the ones that look like you. You see, that you expect that. You expected that in 2008 when you elected Barack Obama as the president. And what did he give you? I'm just asking the question, and I know it's going to tick some people off, but you know what I'm saying? That's okay, It's better to be ticked off than ticked on, And you should be tired of being ticked on, because you've been ticked on for a long time, black people. So it's time to mind your thoughts, because they got your mind. You know, when you talk about black people can't be racist because we don't own nothing, here's the $1 million question. If you don't own nothing, who owns you? Peace.